In 1887, Herman R. Swanke built a small sawmill just outside of Tigerton, Wisconsin. The mill burned to the ground just 4 years later, but Swanke, being a fearless businessman, refused to give up and built a larger sawmill in the heart of Tigerton. Little did he know, this mill would become the backbone of this small town for decades to come.
The sawmill is very important to Tigerton. If that isn't here, Tigerton wouldn't be here either.
With the success of his new sawmill, Swanke built and opened a store in the town of Tigerton, increasing job opportunities and bringing more people into the small town. In 1912, electricity came to town when Tigerton Lumber Company purchased a generator to supply electricity to the mill, Badger Lumber Company's store, and the Swanke residents. The use of electricity was later expanded to the entire village. Swanke quickly began to make a name for himself and Tigerton by always being at the forefront of innovation.
With Tigerton's many years, over 125 years of manufacturing there, they've had quite the reputation.
Herman R. Swanke passed away in 1923 and left the company to his sons. His legacy continued through his sons for decades with the acquisition of more land and expansion of the Tigerton name. In the late 1990s, most of Swanke's relatives had passed, and the company was sold to the Ort family.
It was important for us to keep the Tigerton Lumber Company name because it was a well-known name around the industry with a lot of history. My dad started sawing lumber with his brothers back in the 50s, and he started out pretty small, mostly logging, and then he got a portable sawmill, and then eventually in the late 70s he built a circle mill in New London, Wisconsin. In '98, my father bought Tigerton Lumber Company. That was the year I graduated high school, so I immediately started working for the company in the woods with the foresters, marking timber, bringing logs into the yard.
Well, I'd been in the lumber business for quite a few years and known about Tigerton, and I heard that it could be for sale. So we'd approached people that owned it at that time, and they said, yeah, it was for sale. And we had looked at quite a bit of their land. They had 48,000 acres of land at that time. So we approached them if they would be interested in selling it, the land and the mill, and they said they were.
I always knew I'd be in this business. I wasn't really interested in anything else. It's just always been a part of me and part of my family and who we were. I was working with the foresters when we bought the company in '98, and then in 2000, we decided that it would probably be a good idea to learn more about the lumber, so I went to the school. A lot of guys, they'll go to the course, and when they come back, they'll have a job with the mill, grading lumber, but usually that leads into something else, more of like selling lumber, because you need to sell lumber, you need to know what you're selling, and you need to know the grades if you want to be a good salesman.
It's quite the standard and puts you a step above somebody else that ain't maybe an NHLA participant. And I know more specifically, as of recently, I've been tasked with kind of growing our export sales, and that's gone well. And I know the NHLA has really been making a push into some of the Chinas, the Middle East, and it's showing even more so with lumber requests. And when I travel over to China, that's kind of almost like a prerequisite now before they'll even work with a mill. So I find it just as vital as I'm sure in its infancy now that the grades are getting understood better overseas. So it's a great honor and a great privilege to be part of the NHLA, and Tigerton's happy to be part of that.
Being a member of NHLA gives you a lot of credibility. It's a stamp you can put on your lumber and people know and trust. Right now there's me and my brother-in-law, we work here. My dad works here, and hopefully someday my brother-in-law and my sister, their kids can work here, and my son and daughter could work here someday. This company's been here for 110 years, and we plan on being here for quite a long time, so there's going to be plenty of work for our family here.